No.
I see gummy worms in my future.
Oh no.
The VHS files contain spoilers, adult content, and harsh language. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the VHS Files podcast. And tonight it's getting a little wormy in here.
More than usual.
A little bit. Now, the question is what worm movie are we talking about? There's only 800 of them from the 70s and 80s.
I don't know which one. Are we talking about slugs?
No, we're not talking about slugs.
No, we're not talking about slugs because they're not worms. They're slugs.
That's right. Well, technically, I mean, it could have been anything that squirms. Tonight we're watching Squirm from 1976. And this is another one that Eric came across in his many ventures on the internet and sent us a trailer and was like, we should do this one. And I was like, okay, I'll put it on the list. And I'd never seen it. I think this is Eric's first watch. And Jason, lo and behold, is the only one here who's seen it. Is that correct?
I think so. Eric, you haven't seen it,
Yeah,
right?
that's correct. I didn't realize I was the one that chose this movie. This was a choice by me.
Let's go back in time. Not your back in time segment, but we'll go back in time in my text messages where I have a trailer from Eric that says, this looks crazy. And it's a trailer for this movie.
I think I do remember. I think it was just maybe it was a GIF.
It might have been a GIF. It was something.
And I think it was just a GIF of the end of probably the best part of the movie. So everything other than that GIF was just couldn't live up to it.
Oscar-worthy performances throughout. The whole cast should have been nominated.
Damn right he forgot. He'd forget his head if it wasn't fast. He doesn't have his mind business at all these days.
Even the worms.
All right. Well, if you haven't guessed, we're talking about frogs. I mean, Squirm from 1976.
This really felt a lot like Frogs.
I kind of felt like I wanted to watch Frogs again after watching this, to be honest.
Frogs was actually better than this.
At least Frogs, you have the charisma of Sam Elliott on screen.
Right, exactly.
Much blood.
Which brings me to my first note here. I was doing a little bit of research about this movie because my notes are not very long this week. And I found out that Kim Basinger was offered the lead role in this.
Wow.
But the director came back and stated that he didn't think anybody would believe that she was a backwoods country girl. And I thought that would have been the extent of it. But no, Martin Sheen was supposed to be Mick. And it was the same sort of situation. They were like, nah, we need somebody who's going to be more believable that he's a fish out of water. So they decided not to go with Martin Sheen also.
Yeah, they went with, what's his name? Don Scardino? Is that how you pronounce his name? Mick?
I don't know. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, that's Scardino, looks like. Yeah,
Scardino.
Which
He didn't do much after this, but damn, he became a hell of a director.
I don't think hardly anybody in this movie did much after this.
Oh no, there is one. And we will
One.
talk about it in our
Yes.
almost famous section. when we
One
get to it.
particular.
One.
I thought I recognized the girl in this, but I think it's because I was thinking she looked like somebody else, and we'll talk about that later as well. But
I got that in a recast because she totally reminds me of somebody else.
so I think along with Almost Famous, I think we're going to do a little bit of recasting tonight as well. But before we start talking about this this slimy little sucker here, Eric, take us back in time, 1976.
We're sending you back in time. Whoa, this is heavy.
Well, Josh, 1976, pretty special year for us. The VHS tape made its debut.
Yay!
Yes. Eventually beating out Betamax is the home video format of choice. So that's pretty cool. Richard Dawkins created the term meme in his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene, an analogy to the gene, a unit that spreads for its own survival. An effort to show evolution doesn't only apply to biological entities. You guys know what memes and mosquitoes have in common?
No, tell me, Eric.
They both die in about a week. The U.S. Department of Labor upgraded chef from a domestic to a professional occupation. By the way, you guys hear about that chef who died recently?
No.
Yeah, he passed away. Passed away.
Wow.
Andre the Giant set a world record by drinking 119 beers in a single sitting.
Yeah.
6 hours.
That's a manly feat right there.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about the time that Andre the Giant had diarrhea?
Do we want to know?
Did you guys hear about that?
No.
No? Oh, really? It was all over town. It was all over town.
Oh,
And finally,
God.
this limber individual made his debut in 1976. Hit it, Josh.
Exercise for Armstrong again.
Wow, this video quality is
really bad.
Pretty good. I actually think there's an effect added to it. It looks, some of it feels unnatural.
So you guys want to hear something a little sad? I never had a Stretch Armstrong.
Me either.
Me either.
All right.
So it's not that fucking sad, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I feel better about myself.
Clearly that was traumatic for you, or something that you think about, that you never had a Stretch Armstrong.
No, but I figured everybody else in the world did.
You're not
You
alone.
are not alone, brother.
We did not have it either. So
Got you.
I did have a Teddy Ruxpin, which we've already discussed.
Yes. See, I didn't have one of those.
no, me either. So
Therefore, you're like a rich kid compared to me.
yeah.
Wouldn't go that far, but okay. So we're going to start talking about Squirm here. And we open with a giant storm of global warming.
I think we've been
really?
in a couple of those storms, haven't we?
When you've personally been through one, it's a little traumatic watching them now, but
Well, it sure upset the mom.
I never saw such a storm. Something evil about it.
straight out of Carrie, man. Like, I was just getting Carrie's mom vibes off of her through the whole movie.
The boys. The boys. Yes, the boys.
I don't understand why she was constantly like treated with kid gloves. Like, they never really explained why she was so fragile.
No, there's a lot they don't explain in this movie.
After Billie Jean the other week in Texas.
We do not all talk like the people from this movie, because Helen Slater's accent, she's even said she hated it because it is so bad.
I was curious if you were going to say anything about some of these accents.
Because even Ophelia, hers is even worse.
She always talks like that.
And then now we've got some Georgia, like, and we had frogs here in the Panhandle. Like, I'm kind of enjoying getting these views of the South. Feels like home.
Well, the thing is, and I got to talk about that too, because I feel like this is a little demeaning to. I mean, we're all from the South, and I mean, shoot, you're in Florida. Josh is in Georgia.
No, I think it's completely
Texas.
accurate. If you're talking about Jerry and her family,
No,
Roger.
I know some people like that, but I'm just saying we're not all like that.
I have someone to pick up on Route 41. The roads are flooded, but I bet I can make it if I can borrow your truck.
Well, I'll drive you there.
What's the matter? Afraid I can't handle it myself?
If you're in New York and you're watching our show, these are not perfect projections of how we are.
One of my notes is this girl is country.
That girl's country as fuck.
Yeah.
You like my truck?
Well, one thing I don't like about the opening of this is with the fucking worms and the close-ups, and it's the worms screaming, and that
I like that. I like it. I like it. I think that's something that is strong in this movie. Is
no.
Yeah. The B-roll of the worms with the screeching, screaming sound. That
The
is
same
like,
roll every
unsettling.
time too.
Yeah.
It's the same shots. I think
It's
they
unsettling.
I think they flipped the angle. Like, here the worms over here screaming, then he's over here screaming.
They mirrored it. Yeah.
They mirrored it. But it reminded me a lot of Frogs, where you would do the zoom into the frogs and it was that music. Yeah. Well, this one you get the zoom into the worms and it was
the only thing I have to give this one over Frogs is they don't cut to that B-roll as often as Frogs does. And I'm happy
Don't
about
forget,
that.
Along with the screeching worms, you also had a child singing.
Oh, dude, that child singing?
There's no children in this movie.
No. And it makes it seem like it's going to be some sort of like evil entity, sort of like it's got that feel to it.
Right.
But no, like
it
it's
makes
just
you think that it's going to be connected to something. It's not.
Electricity on the ground. That's it.
Here's a question. Is the child singing just Roger as a child singing before he was attacked by worms?
What if?
Is this movie about Roger? That's the question.
I don't know if this movie knows what it's about. Because it's supposed to be about these worms unearthing because of the electricity in the ground. Yes. Yet there's hardly any shots of these fucking worms. You get one here and there, one in his fucking drink at the cafe. You know, I don't think they go overboard with this until the very end, as far as.
Well, that's the payoff at the end when you have a house full of worms. That's the payoff.
Hey, I wrote the lyrics down to Eric's #1 song for the summer 2022. Watching in the garden.
This is 100% Roger.
And I'm like, I've watched this movie a bunch. We didn't really touch on that, how you guys have never seen it. I grew up watching this movie, and not because I wanted to. It's because my stepdad and mom would watch it. We had a VHS copy, so we watched it. But I never really paid attention to the children singing until I watched it this time. Because I got the, you get the surround sound, so you can hear everything. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I mean, it's dark, and there's something in the dark. I'm like, okay.
Well, now that you read the lyrics to me, it sounds a little more like it belongs in the movie, but the melody of it is just fucking strange, man. Like it seems like it should be in like a haunted house horror movie, and this is not that at all.
Yeah, it suggests the supernatural.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, not what we're dealing with. This is just pure science.
Yeah, kind of Amityville-ish, you would feel.
If you run electricity into the ground, the worms will go crazy.
They will.
To escape it, they come out and they attack you. Now, is Roger just? Does he just lose his shit because he got attacked by worms, or is there some kind of mind control happening with him?
I don't know. I think it's just because he lost his shit.
I think he just lost his shit, right?
Well, I would assume that there's some shit going on with Roger from the beginning of the movie. Like
he's not all there.
Yeah.
No, he's simple.
Yeah, it's simple. Yeah, it's slow.
But there's also the relationship with the dad. The dad seems very abusive. So
the dad is clearly just someone's dad.
Yeah.
Who worked on the film, because he is not an actor.
Well, I was wondering
what that dude was that dude was the worst actor. He's just not even acting. He's just literally saying words. Go ahead.
Hold on.
All right.
This movie takes place in Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's another famous TV show that takes place in Georgia. The old man's name is Mr. Grimes.
Don't even.
Was Roger maybe Rick Grimes' grandpa or dad?
Well, Rick Grimes is actually from Virginia. If you've read the books, he's not from Georgia, so
epic fail.
He was from Virginia. His family's from Georgia. He moved back to Georgia.
Whatever, you got to tell yourself to sleep at night, buddy.
Like you guys are talking, there's a lot of stuff that it's just you could point it out and rip this movie apart. Like the whole thing with the refrigerator. Your power went out last night. I mean, you guys have been through this with the hurricanes. You don't open the fucking refrigerator. Oh, the food's spoiled because you've been opening the fridge all damn night.
Well, she didn't know it was. She didn't realize she's fragile.
That was actually one of my first notes. Is the food in the fridge is spoiled already? Like how? It hasn't even been 24 hours.
That's what I was saying. I mean, I understand they're talking about it's super hot, but I'm like, That's one of them old school, heavily insulated refrigerators. I mean, do you ever try to move one of them?
She's just running her mouth like she does the whole movie. No one takes her seriously. She doesn't do anything.
No.
She's worthless.
But she, we also meet Roger, who's helping out in their garden and whatnot. And Jerry asks if she can borrow his truck to go pick up her boyfriend that she met in the city or something. Like, they're not super clear on this.
Yeah, a potential love interest that's coming to visit her. Why? No one knows.
And he's coming to visit her, and he looks like fucking Princess Vespa from Spaceballs with all this shit he's bringing around on this goddamn bus, dude. Like,
Mick is the worst. I do not like Mick, dude.
I don't like him either.
I love the bus driver's sarcasm.
That is funny.
Fucking awesome.
Well, it's straight ahead about 5 miles. You're gonna need a boat to go over there. You probably got one somewhere.
Yeah, you'll need a compass, but you probably have one of them too.
One of those too.
Well,
That's fucking hilarious.
And I hate to get to it so early, but we're gonna go ahead and get into my biggest fucking problem with this movie.
Alma's shoes.
No. Alma's outfit is not something to brag about.
No, I'm talking about those shoes that she can clearly not walk in.
Almost the best part of this film. So go ahead.
Okay, so this dude's coming into town on a bus and he's cutting through the woods, right? She's driving in to get him. He falls into a fucking water puddle that is 6 feet deep in the middle of a fucking...
deep.
And she goes, "Oh, hey." Like, how the fuck did she find him? I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense. Like, he's cutting through a path in the woods. She's supposed to be driving to pick him up. How the fuck did she know where he was and where he was at? Like, it makes no sense.
I got it.
No, you're not going to explain this to me.
Nope. She left early to get him. She went the other way to take the main highway. Noticed it was flooded. She went the back roads, and knowing, because the bus driver said the same thing, if you walk straight through there, it's a half mile to the road. And she knew the same thing. Well, if I park here, there's a trail, and I'm going to go right this way, and I'll catch him at the bus.
That's a decent guess, Jason, but it shows her driving through water, which to me as a viewer is telling me that she's driving through that part you needed the boat for.
No, because they said it was so flooded you needed a boat. She couldn't drive. It was just a puddle she drove.
None of this matters, dude. How the fuck did she know he got off the bus?
Well, she didn't know.
How did she know he got off the bus and was cutting through the fucking woods? She has no idea this happened. So why is she in the woods looking for him?
She's country, man. She just knows.
She's country radar.
Got a feel for the land, you know?
Saw the crow fly by. Oh, he's off the bus.
Nope. This movie's a fucking for me right now.
You know, this is 1976. Also important to note, this man's in the woods alone, has no idea where he is in 1976. Not now, where you've got all kinds of ways to be safe. Like, you go out in the woods, he's traveling by himself. Nobody gives a shit. If she doesn't find him, he's dead. Period.
He's fucking dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. As a matter of fact, when he fell in that hole, he would have probably died.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Especially since he stays in those clothes for half the movie. Another thing I want to point out too is this all happens in a day.
You know, Sam Elliott gets wet in Frogs as well.
What's that with getting wet?
It's wet.
But he goes to a house and changes clothes. This dude stays in this outfit for half the movie. Then when he does change, he gets wet and all fucking gross again and stays in that through the rest of the movie. This guy has no sense of personal hygiene.
That's it. That's what it is, man.
But no, you say, Mick is the worst part of this movie, and I happen to agree. And the sad part is he's not supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to feel bad that the sheriff is giving him shit, and all these people at the cafe are fucking, like, hating on him.
If you didn't like the drink, all you had to do was say so. I've got enough problems around here with our comedians.
What? I found it in the glass. I didn't put it there.
At this point, I don't hate Mick yet.
I do.
Yeah, the sheriff's a fucking dick.
Yeah, the sheriff is an asshole.
And a sex offender.
And yeah, he grabs
pretty much.
He also just, they go to the well of him like threatening Mick too many times.
Yeah.
It's like every 10 minutes he's like, "Listen here, city boy, I'll eat your liver," or something. You know, it's like then the next it's like, "I'll drive you out of town, you little nerd." Yeah, that guy's a cartoon.
But we get back, and I mean, you know the name of the movie, Squirm. But you get the biggest foreshadowing that they are right next door to a fucking worm farm.
Yeah, there's a worm farm next door. Their argument, clearly unscripted, when they're like, he's like, you do your work. And he's like, I don't want to. And I mean, at least write some lines for these poor guys to try to say. They're like shooting from the hip here.
You're gonna dig deep, buddy boy, and I mean deep, down to your toenails.
I mean, again, I'm thinking it's 76. It is what it is, but still, like, it's. I don't know how people can get through, like, and enjoy the performances going on in this movie.
Okay, have any one of you ever have or heard of an egg cream?
No,
I have heard of an egg cream actually, although it didn't look great.
Yeah, and in his description of it, I was like, that sounds disgusting.
An egg cream. It's just chocolate syrup, a little milk, and some seltzer water.
A chocolate soda.
That's it. With just a little shot of milk to give it a head.
Yeah, like that sounds like some shit straight out of a David Lynch movie. Like someone would sit down and order that shit in a David Lynch movie. Like, and there's no egg in it. That's also, it's like, okay, what? Like a lot of pointless stuff going on here.
There's all kinds of weird. I think it's intended to be like a city thing that the country people don't recognize. Like, there's like these milkshake, like malted milkshakes you can get in New England called cabinets.
Yeah.
Why they call them a cabinet, I don't know. Maybe it's.
Hey Josh, what happens when you go up north and order a milkshake?
They don't. If you order a milkshake up north, they will shake up a glass of milk and hand it to you. You have to. I
love that story.
Their version of a milkshake is called a frap, like a frappuccino, but it's a frap is what they call them. Yeah, that was something my stepdad told me all the time when I was a kid. He's like, you go in there and try and order a milkshake and you see what they do. And I sure as shit, I've saw it. And one time we were at a little diner eating and somebody asked for a milkshake and they just shook up some milk and gave it to them.
That's funny. So Mick is all wet. Jerry, they just get back to the house. He's going to wear some of her dad's clothes because he apparently hasn't, or all his clothes are wet because his bags fell in the water, or he didn't.
I guess
clothes.
That's a good explanation. Yeah, I can go with that.
So they have to go to Mr. Beasley's. Why? I don't understand why she has to go to Mr.
Okay.
Who is Mr. Beasley?
I'm going to go ahead and admit.
Or do you know Josh? I know what he is.
I mean, I know what he is too, but I was going to say, I watched this movie twice and didn't get this information.
You poor bastard.
Didn't get this information until the second time. But apparently there's a through line of she is like an antiquer.
Yes.
And she buys these antiques she was supposed to go through some of his stuff or something.
I see. Well, I mean, that's an important aspect of this movie
I mean, it's what sets everything in motion. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's maybe how she met Mick. He likes antiques. He came to see antiques. Yeah.
That is what it is. Because I mean, they talk about the first part of the movie because she says something about not being. He said, "Well, I'm here to go look at the antiques." And because even when they get to the bar, they talk about Mr. I think it's Beasley Beach, whatever. I can never make out what his damn name is, but.
Yeah, the bartender tries to get them to buy.
Yeah, he tries to sell it. He says, I got a whole part of antiques back here. You're welcome to go through. So I guess it's just a big antiquing circle of people.
And maybe that's how they met. Joke, like everyone keeps everything around here. Like,
yeah.
And that's why Roger finds and keeps Mr. Beasley's skeleton. Because he thinks he'll be able to sell it.
That's another plot point I didn't pick up on until the second time I watched this, because that's how much I was really paying attention the first time. I found they find this skeleton and then the skeleton's gone, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and then I thought the worms ate the skeleton.
They did,
and then
no, they didn't.
They ate the body.
They ate the body, and Roger took the skeleton in hopes to sell it in the antiquing market.
Yeah.
Man, I done went over there and they had a damn skeleton on the ground. I went ahead and do it in the back of the truck. We're going to make $10.
Damn, Jason, you could have been in this movie, man.
Dude, man, I could do this all day. I listen to people talk like this all day long.
We listen to you talk like this all the time.
Yes, I talk just like this all day long, just like this. I talk like this.
We should be drinking PBRs.
Dude, that's one thing I used to talk about when I lived in Panama City and you went out to the bars. You see all these little hipster assholes in the bar with their white rim sunglasses. I want a PBR. give me a PBR. And
Are
I'm
you
like,
saying you don't like PBR? Or what are you
no,
saying?
it's fucking disgusting. But I'm like,
oh, really?
That's junk beer. You throw that shit away.
I like PBR. It's great for the beach.
What Jason doesn't realize is he just insulted Eric because Eric is the guy with the white rim sunglasses at the bar ordering a PBR.
You are a hipster motherfucker.
I've been drinking PBR for decades. I don't know how that makes me a hipster. Maybe that does make me a hipster.
Oh yeah,
PBR's good.
You just said it. I've been drinking it for decades.
I drank it before it was cool, bro.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Do you have the white rim sunglasses?
Just me and Roger. I don't have any
do
white rim sunglasses.
Do you do the pointy, hair, gel, and all that stuff, and wear tight?
I don't know what
shirts?
you're talking about, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Eric's like, that motherfucker's describing my closet, motherfucker.
Jesus Christ. PBR is an American classic. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm all about it. Great light beer, cheap.
That's
it. Is cheap.
There's one little thing this movie does that I do kind of have a little bit of respect for, is the spot when Alma is in the hallway at some point getting something out of this trunk.
Yes.
And she kind of slips and falls in it.
Yes.
And I was like, foreshadowing.
See, I didn't think at the time that it was foreshadowing. Actually, I
didn't catch it until the second watch.
Oh yeah, it pays off. I love that payoff. That's great.
Because you think what happens, you think she's gone. So.
Yeah. Almost hilarious. I think she's actually funny in this movie. Like, not I'm laughing at it. Like, I think she's funny.
And was she giving him weed?
Yeah, dude, she was rolling, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she's like, she smoked one and she gave him one. And then she says, trust me, you're going to need this later, because she was talking about his leg itching. She knew he had poison ivy from walking through the woods.
Right.
But it's kind of cool that we watched and we're doing this today and we're recording and it's 4:20. So perfect.
Yeah. Alma knows.
Alma knows her.
She knows what's up.
I like how she's just kind of hanging out. She goes along with Mick, like, oh, you're gonna go break into the dentist's office? Okay, I'll go.
Fuck yeah, let's do this.
I tell you what, man,
anything.
This skeleton, I mean, the way they rely on this skeleton throughout this entire movie, and then the audacity that they go through of breaking into someone's office to match the teeth. Like, it's so convoluted. It's so stupid.
Josh, Mick comes here to visit Jerry and look at antiques. And at some point, he decides he's going to solve a murder.
Anybody I know?
Aaron Beardsley.
At any cost.
He become the Hardy Boys.
He finds the skeleton and he's not even sure that it's new at first, right? Like he says like this could be years old. And it should be because it's all bleached.
Yeah.
White.
Totally
for some
bleached.
reason.
Yeah.
And he decides at some point, I'm not interested in anything I'm here for. I'm going to risk my life. I'm going to risk going to prison. I'm going to break into this dentist's office and dig through his records in hopes that I will find a match for this skull that I've just stolen.
So what does this say? Does this say that there's such a small town that they had that little of records to go through that he was actually able to find somebody?
Yes. And also I think maybe he looked for Beasley specifically.
Yeah, he knew who it was because they went
well,
to his
he didn't
house.
know. He had a hunch.
Yeah, that,
you know,
hey, I'm going to check this out. And if he's missing these 3 front teeth, then.
Well, it's funny when he goes to try to tell the sheriff and the sheriff's like, how do you know? And he's like, oh, fuck. I can't tell you how I know. I'm an idiot.
I just committed a B&E.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You already told me to get out of town and I broke into your dentist's office.
But I solved a murder. Does that make up for it? And here we go. We have the Billie Jean thing going again.
I was about to say he would fit right in with Billie Jean's gang.
Yeah.
I broke the law, but fair is fair, right? What did you think about the worms? Like a worm on the wall here and there, a worm here.
There's not enough. You have to wait a long time to get some worm action.
Right.
Too long.
Like
we're basically sitting in this like murder mystery zone for a little bit. And we know the movie's called Squirm. We know it's the worms. You get, you know what's coming, but you have to wait a long time.
Because I mean, you get back when she's going to take a shower. She turns the shower head on. You see that a couple come out and then they go back.
They go back. They hide.
I have a
go,
story. I have a story. I was watching this in the living room, and Jenny was doing class or something, so she was in her office, and she came out right when that scene came on, and you can see the worms coming out of the fucking shower head, and she turned around, she goes, "Ooh, no, you have to turn it off. You can't watch it while I'm..."
One of the few moments in the film that would give her that reaction. The rest of it's just like,
yeah,
you know what's funny?
Blabbing away about God knows what.
Yeah, and what's bad is like doing the research for this. I know Josh said he did some digging on this movie.
Did
some
digging.
Did some digging, yeah. I seen where they were talking about they were talking about shower scenes, and some people listed this as like the number 2 or 3 shower scene.
Get the fuck out of here.
Underneath
dude.
Psycho, and I'm like,
there's a shower scene in Arachnophobia that's 10 times better than this.
Yes.
We've talked about Bird on a Wire. I have to say it again. Bird on a Wire shower scene with the roach on the shower head.
So there you go. You got 3 shower scenes that deserve to be in front of this one by just complete what I don't even know.
She's not even showering in this one. She's just in the shower. She doesn't actually take a shower because the water won't turn on.
Right.
Because it's full of worms.
This movie could be PG. I mean, well, I think. Is it PG?
It's rated R. They said they tried to cut more stuff out of it. I think it still ended up being rated R.
No, it's rated PG. You're wrong.
Well, the thing that I read said it was rated like it was worse R, and they tried to cut it down, and they still didn't do it.
IMDb says PG, but maybe later releases of it had different rating or something.
Maybe by today's standards they consider it PG.
Well, it has a nipple in it. It has a nipple, so
back
that
then
automatically should make it at least R, right? You can't see a lady.
There was no PG-13 back then. It was PG and R. After the whole discovery that this is the dead guy, and they're going to run back. They go back to Mr. Grimes' farm. They don't see Mr. Grimes. Now, I like this shot because I don't know if you guys did your homework. Rick Baker did the special effects in this movie.
I did not know that.
I did not know.
Yes, this is the first time he used prosthetics in a movie. Wow. This is his first time. But he did the special effects in this movie, special effects makeup and stuff like that. But I actually like that shot of the Mr. Grimes laying on the ground. Very Tremors of the guy in the ground. Mm-hmm. And I like it when he sticks his head down, like, what the fuck? And they open it up and you see all the worms. I like that it's in the rib cage. Like, it's just not all worms. And I thought that was a cool shot for this movie. There is a couple other little special effects things I think look cool, but the majority of it is cheesy as fuck.
Well, there's just not a lot of it. The times they do bring out the special effects, they look pretty good. I think the worms going into Roger's face look pretty good.
Again, I mean, shoot, that's the beginning of Rick Baker's doing all that, man. You think of what we got later.
Leading up to that, Roger getting face full of worms, Mick tells Jerry to go. He thinks at this point that Roger is a suspect because they found the skeleton in the truck.
Yeah.
Right.
It's either Roger or his dad or both of them are involved. And Mick tells Jerry to keep Roger busy on the boat while he can go investigate.
I bet Roger would have liked if she would have been keeping him busy too.
Well, Mick is happy to put Jerry in danger.
Right.
Put her with a potential killer to go investigate, and he takes her sister and goes and he steals the skull out of the truck and goes and breaks into the dentist's office. And this is our hero. Like, Mick is supposed to be our guy. Like, no way, dude.
Yeah, he could have sent Jerry to do all that.
She was very close to being like basically raped.
Yeah, there's that shot of Roger,
killed.
you can tell he's got something for her. It's obvious from the moment you see him in this movie. Yeah. And but like again, like they treat him, because he's slow. Right. So like it's almost like
in the boat when Mick's there, like Roger's saying some things that are not you're like, maybe I shouldn't leave this girl with him,
he's coming up behind her and manhandling her. And he falls. When he fell, you knew he was going to stand up with worms on his face. If you've seen anything horror movies wise, but I love that. I mean, he stands up, and I like even how you can kind of see them moving under the skin.
Yeah,
like
there's some bladder,
they didn't just glue them on
or something.
Yeah, and they were kind of making them go in, and it's kind of creepy. I mean, when I was a kid watching it, it kind of scared me. you're like, whoa, shit.
Roger tells them here of when his dad put the electricity into the ground and the worms
drives them crazy. Yeah.
They bit his thumb off.
And that does work, by the way. We've done that. I mean, people around here do that where you take like two metal rods.
Oh, the electricity thing?
You plug it in and then you stick it in the ground and it'll drive them up.
Wow, that's wild.
And you get your night crawlers to go fishing. I mean, we've done that here.
Has Jason done it? Yes.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier about Roger, kind of like maybe some past trauma. I mean, I guess if I really would have been paying close attention, this is the trauma that we're talking about. So yeah, I mean, but it's still, it's a weird scene, man. And I agree. Like he could have easily just stayed with Roger and sent Jerry off to do all that stuff.
The worms save her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The worms save her, not
absolutely
not Mick.
But I'm just saying, maybe he's like, well, I'm from the city and I know what I'm doing. You know, it's again demeaning to people like, oh, you don't know, which you don't know how to look at dental record.
Mick's a total nerd.
Yeah, and that part where he jumps out of the boat, shoot, to me, that's more terrifying than probably the worms eating in the face, because it's like, again, you're in a Georgia swamp. You want to jump out, and then you're gonna have water moccasins stuck to your face and your back, and leeches and alligator eating your fucking lower half of your leg.
Jason, we're talking about Squirm, not frogs. Remember,
the frogs are killing them too.
Well, this ought to be short and sweet. Let's get it over with.
Almost Famous.
I know that, dude.
I don't know them. I know her.
Haven't you ever heard of that guy? What's his name?
That guy who was in that movie that was out last year.
I'm sort of famous for being almost famous.
Only one person in this movie I recognized.
There's one person I recognized, and we've actually talked about a movie he was in.
I only recognize one person. Also.
Okay.
I wonder if it's the one you guys recognized.
You want me to say it?
Do you want me to say it?
No, do you want me to say it?
We'll say it on 3.
All right.
Hold on, I gotta find it. All right.
1.5.
1, 2, 3.
William Newman.
But what movie have we done that he was in that I recognized him from?
Leprechaun?
A leprechaun. That's a good one.
Yeah, because you're reading IMDb.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
But he was Mr. Sprinkles and Miss Doubtfire with Robin Williams.
Yeah. I also see that on IMDb.
He was one of the guys that had another show. But when Miss Doubtfire gets her own show, he's the mailman that delivers the mail at the end of the show.
Hey, remember when I said Willie, the dad, there's no way he was an actor?
Yeah.
I just clicked on his thing on IMDb, and this is his only credit.
Dude, there's 3 actors that have nothing but Squirm.
Oh, really?
3. Roger.
Well, if you didn't, then who did?
And the girl that plays Alma.
You're right.
Yeah,
wow.
There's nothing. It
Fran
just says
Higgins.
Squirm.
Dude, Alma had some ability of those 3. Alma, I was an Alma fan.
Ain't you gonna put Mr. Beasley's skull back in the truck before Roger gets back?
But if we're talking about the guy that plays Mick, that Don Scardino, dude, he ended up becoming a director. He directed Law and Order episodes for many years. He did 30 Rock, and he's directed The Connors as of recently.
Wow.
Oh.
So he went on to do bigger, better things.
Good work, buddy. It's all because he solved this murder.
Talk about New York. 2 corpses in one day. Next time you visit me, okay?
Well, since this Almost Famous was going to be a little lackluster this week, I decided it'd be fun to do another recast, because I was looking at these people and I was like, she looks like her. He looks like that guy. So let's talk about who we could recast this movie with. Who wants to start on this week?
I'll start because I only have one person I recast.
Okay.
I recast Roger as Walton Goggins.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot better than mine, I think. I was trying to think of somebody, and I got somebody, but I think Walton Goggins would be a better one.
Okay, you have to tell me who that is, because sometimes I don't know the names. I just know their faces.
Well, just Google it, Jason. Jesus Christ.
I can't. I'm not Googling. No, I'm not you. You're the Googler.
He was the sheriff guy in The Hateful Eight. He was in Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. That's all I needed was face.
Boyd
Was a
Crowder
face.
and Justified. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Haven't watched Justified. He's in all kinds of stuff. He's an almost famous person, basically.
He's great. I love that dude.
All right, Jason, what's yours? I got a few actually. So
Okay. Well, like Eric, I only got one, and just the whole thing of her demeanor, her stature, and everything. I thought of Bernadette from Big Bang Theory, Melissa Rauch.
I don't really get it.
I just think it fits her personality, the look, and everything. I think she could pull it off because in there she does have a little bit of an accent. So I was just like, I think she could totally do the
For
southern
what character? For Jerry?
For Jerry. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think she'd be a great Jerry.
I saw a particular person in Jerry, and that's kind of what sparked this recast for me. But I think Kate Mara would be a good recast for Jerry. Jason, are you aware of who Kate Mara is?
Oh, I know who Kate Mara is.
Okay. I never know who you know and who you don't. So
I definitely know who she is.
Your creepy laugh is concerning.
No, I definitely know who she is, considering she's related to the Maras that own the New York Giants. So
I see. Now that I just thought of another one.
Josh had a whole list. So,
oh, he does.
Yeah, I basically recast the whole fucking movie.
Is Kevin Hart in your list?
No.
Oh fuck! It sucks.
No, hold on. One more for me. I'm just gonna say Natalia Dyer for Jerry. She's Nancy from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I'm like,
just hit me.
That's a pretty good one. I went with Andrew Garfield for Mick.
Yeah, that works.
He's kind of got that same shaped face.
And kind of like a city boy, not like a,
right.
Doesn't come across as like real. Yeah, that works.
For Alma, Kristen Shaw.
Yes, that's really good.
Jason, do you know who Kristen Shaw is?
I've heard the name. I can't picture it.
Google it, Jason.
I don't Google, man. Hey, Machete, don't Google.
I'm sure you're doing all your movie research at the library.
Yes.
Okay.
It's her.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that is like an older version of Alma.
It's perfect.
Exactly.
That is Alma.
That is excellent.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, I know who. I definitely know who that is. Yeah.
And I think she's funny too. And I think
she's hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude,
so
it's the perfect level of like, I don't give a shit. Kind of.
This is what we'll do. We'll remake Squirm with these actors that I have, and I guarantee you it will be a better movie.
Well, you just need more worms sooner. I think that's really what hurts this movie.
So I'll finish up real quick. I had Josh Brolin as Roger.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. The younger Josh Brolin.
No, like right now, Josh Brolin I think would work just fine.
I don't know about that.
Arguing with his father?
Yeah, that's it.
But the sheriff, Willem Dafoe. He's got that crazy smile.
Dude, the smile. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For the sheriff, I'd like to also add Jim Carrey's Joe Biden.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's good. That's a good one.
And the mom, it's funny you brought up Stranger Things. Winona Ryder as the mom.
There you go. Yeah.
I like it.
Got that manic sort of feel from Stranger Things. So
I like it. I
like it a lot.
I like it.
While we're talking about the mom, like she comes across as very sexually repressed throughout this movie as well.
Maybe that's what's wrong with her. She wasn't getting the D.
She was very disappointed that Roger didn't show up for dinner.
Lord only knows when's the last time we had two hungry men around here.
And she's like, I don't know, man. She's definitely like bonkers in this movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't like I kept waiting for her to have some kind of moment that would matter. But everyone kind of keeps her sheltered from everything, and then she dies, and that's it.
She's kind of the old man in the wheelchair from Frogs.
Oh, you make it sound like the worst of the ugly rich.
We are the ugly rich.
No, she's nowhere near as interesting as that dude.
Well, I mean, she serves about the same amount of purpose as he did.
That guy shot a snake with a pistol in the house.
Yeah.
Right out of the chandelier. She didn't do nothing like that.
I did like when the tree fell on the house, though. That was kind of cool.
Okay, I want to talk about that
because it looks like they really just dropped a tree on a. Well, it doesn't look like they clearly dropped. A tree
They
on
absolutely did.
Yeah, that's the tree.
And I appreciate that.
Okay, well that's the thing. All right, the tree falls out. That's like a huge ass damn oak tree, right? I mean, it's got a trunk. You can't hug it. You know, it's that big, right? So the worms chewed the freaking roots and pushed the tree over.
Or they loosened the soil, is what I thought. They loosened the soil, just like a lot of rain will loosen soil and trees will fall.
Yeah, but you know, they did all this stuff to it, and then they come up with this idea that we need to board the house up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna run a half a mile to go get some plywood, and I'm gonna drag it back another half a mile back.
Yeah, Jerry. I think Jerry says, "How are you gonna bring it back? You're gonna go get wood half a mile away through the woods. We're under attack right now."
He's just like, "I'll figure something out."
Yeah. Please put that clip in where he goes, huh? You know.
But the thing is, the fact is, they knocked the tree over, made the tree fall. But he's thinking a piece of plywood is going to keep the worms from coming in the house.
Well, I think if you look, it's obviously an add-on to this house, and I think the thing is, he just hit the add-on, so he's just trying to block the doorway or whatever.
Yeah.
What Jason's saying is the worms are eating through wood, which I don't think it's necessarily the case. I think maybe they just loosened the roots in the soil.
But they could, because they eat through people.
He's got a point.
Yeah,
you're saying okay. I can eat pork. Can I eat a tree? I don't understand why that's the same thing.
But when you
I eat a 2x4 because I eat pork,
a million teeth eating on the roots of a tree. Hello,
they want meat, dude. They want meat, bro.
Do worms eat meat?
They want the meat.
Worms don't eat meat.
Oh, they eat meat. That's all they eat.
Well, remember, they call them bloodworms and sandworms in this, which as soon as they said that, I was like, where's Beetlejuice? When they said sandworms.
These all look like centipedes to me, man. They don't even look like, I mean, I would think earthworms is what I'm thinking.
Those don't actually look like earthworms. They don't.
No, actually, guys, I looked up bloodworms.
Okay.
And they do have those little
frillies on the side.
Yeah, little frillies, which kind of makes them look like
spirit fingers.
Wait.
They have spirit fingers.
Yeah. So they do look kind of like millipedes or something, but yeah, I don't know I tried to Google some of the B-roll of the mouths, to see like what kind of worms are they showing there, because they're obviously different. But I couldn't get an answer there. So.
Well, I can honestly tell you, I mean, going fishing here as a kid, like we used to get the earthworms with the electricity, and there was a couple other tricks. If I had worms that looked like that, I would not have went fishing as a kid. I was like, fuck this.
They were pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I'm like, hello. But when he goes to go get the plywood, like he ran a half mile. That's a pretty quick half mile. He just said that when it gets dark, the worms are going to come. So he's running off into the middle of the woods again. A guy that has no clue where the fuck he is.
Yeah.
And he starts digging through this plywood, finds a piece of plywood, and he run across Roger. And Roger freaking beats his ass, and he's got the worms going. And he's fucking... Dude.
No, Roger doesn't beat his ass. This scene is so fucking stupid, dude. It is fucking terrible. He throws him in a hole, and the plywood lands on it. It's not even fucking plywood. It's panel wood, dude. Panel wood.
I have a note that says, Josh, please put a clip of Roger throwing sticks at Mick with the plywood on top of a
throwing stick and not even hitting him. Not
it just
even
hits the
hitting
plywood.
him with them.
Just hits the plywood. It's so ridiculous when he gets hit with the plywood.
You gonna be the worm face.
It's fucking.
And I'm like, what the hell?
I think this character could have been great, man, but it's just the way they went with it in this is.
No, the problem to me is it's supposed to me make it about the killer worms.
Yeah.
Why is it? What is the deal with Roger? He's got worms on him. He almost comes across like he's like working with the worms in a way. I keep thinking of like what's an example of like
Slither.
Yeah, like exactly. Like he's
Slither.
Like he's
Yeah.
part of the hive mind of the worms, and he's like
Yeah.
helping the worms or whatever. So
But
when he
you
gets
kinda
thrown
thi-
in
you
the
ki-
worms, and then he gets out again, I'm thinking, yeah, I guess they didn't need him because he just got
you're
thrown.
kind of think that toward the end of the movie, how it
Yeah.
happens. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, why does he get away every time? And why is he the main threat of this movie over the worms?
Maybe they could have explained some of that throughout this movie instead of this stupid fucking subplot of the goddamn antique collector and all that stuff. Like, again, I think this is a prime candidate that could be remade and be well made, but I don't know, like even the worm aspect of it, like worms at this point to me don't seem threatening. Unless there's something like Slither, like a bigger something that could control
alien.
you, or yeah, like.
Well,
So-
I don't know. I think they still kind of creep me out. Like, what about Alma goes upstairs and we finally get a bunch of worms, the worm avalanche out of the
Yeah.
bathroom.
This movie goes from what it is to wanting to be the Blob.
Yes.
At this point, is
Mhm.
what it tries to be. Is like, because there are millions upon millions of worms everywhere. Like we saw them just barely coming out of the head, and then all of a sudden the whole bathroom is full. And then when she
Mhm.
opens the door, they're the full length of the door falling out at her.
She left the water running. Remember? She says, "Oh, I left the water running." So they all were just able to.
And we
flow
all
out
think
of it.
Alma is dead. She's dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
She's
And
gone.
And how fast they're rising in the living room does not match the fact that they're coming into the bathroom that's upstairs. And when Mick goes upstairs, it's like there's nothing up there.
That's dude. I had it in my notes. It's like, what is the deal with the worms in the floor coming
Yeah.
out from under the house? And all of that, Mick is coming back and he sees them coming out from under the house. Wouldn't he be walking through worms?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? But you get in the house. What happened to the 5 million worms that were in the bathroom?
They all went downstairs, bro.
It's funny you say 5 million worms. I did read a little bit of information about this. They got the jelly squiggler worms for fucking fishing and whatnot.
Yeah.
They were countless in how many they got. They could not tell you how many of them they bought for this movie.
Yeah.
And they actually caused like back stock on them for a good 6 months.
That's
like you
very
could,
cool.
you
Yeah.
could not.
People
They ruined the
that were
market for
pissed.
rubber
Yeah.
worms.
People
Holy
were
shit.
fucking mad, dude.
That's funny. People like couldn't
Damn.
feed their families because this movie was made.
All I need is those red jiggly worms, and they're all gone. And then hey, this new movie come out at the theater, and you can see like these guys watching the movie, and they're like, motherfucker, there's my
There's the
goddamn worms.
Them sons of bitches.
Just get a rope.
Oh, we haven't talked about the sheriff who's getting busy in the jail cell.
Oh yeah, taking ladies back to the jail cell. Oh god.
Hey, is there room service? Yeah, we got bread and water. He's
I
a
do like-
smooth talker.
We're kind of way past this, but I like when they're trying to tell them what's going on at the restaurant and they're
They're eating
slurping
spaghetti?
The spaghetti.
Yeah.
That's
How do you
actually-
like your worms, Michael? Are they good?
I do like that moment. I like the spaghetti moment.
But yeah,
But
dude,
yeah.
when they're making out, and they're sitting there, post coitus, sitting there, and I love that. Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. You're like, she's got worms in her vagina. She's got worms in her vagina.
No,
what
no.
the fuck?
No.
I'm
no.
like, what?
That is not what I thought. Josh, is that what you thought?
Yes.
I'm like,
It is.
yeah.
I was thinking like her feet or something, like tickling her toes or something. Not wow, you
But you know, touching his wife's feet and sticking your tongue in the holiest of holies ain't the same fucking ballpark. It ain't the same league. It ain't even the same fucking sport.
good God Almighty.
We get back to the house. You got the worms, and we find out just a candle makes them move. I love how like Moses parting the Red Sea of worms with
That
the
looks
candle.
cool too. It kind of the reverse film. It worked for me.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
effect.
guys, the last 10 minutes of this movie are not bad.
No,
But I
this
had-
is where you kind of go, oh, this is what I thought I was going to get for the past 80 minutes or whatever. I think when you have Jerry in the house, you've got worms coming up through the floor, like you realize, you're under attack from these killer
Mhm.
worms. You got Roger coming into the house. You're in this country house at night.
The shot of the mom with worms
kinda-
all over her and stuff,
it's pretty
that shit looks
creepy.
great.
Yeah, like it's
Did you notice that was a green screen?
I I didn't notice that.
It's edited on her. They don't have worms on her. You can see it like in the version I watched. It's shot onto her like that. I'm like,
Interesting.
Oh, that's horrible.
I don't remember that at all. That's crazy. But my point being, for all its faults, in this part of the film, it actually gets creepier than Frogs ever gets, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, and I think the sound design is part of that. When we get the B-roll with the screaming worms, like all that stuff adds together. And you know, the look of Roger with the worms in his face, and he's completely freaking lost it. And you know, your only hope is Mick, who's the biggest stupid, uninteresting nerd I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, I would say definitely had a Michael Myers shot. Did you catch it, Josh?
Yeah.
You mean
that part where she's in the kitchen and she lights the candle and he just slowly fades in the window with the wormy face. He's standing right outside the kitchen. I was like, 1976, Halloween came out 1978. Maybe John Carpenter kind of liked that little effect of the slow fade into the window.
Yeah, big Squirm fan.
Oh, wait, guys, you gotta hear about this, okay? Follow John Carpenter and all that shit on social media, right? He was selling his VHS collection. Did you guys see this?
No.
His official page put something up and said John is selling his old VHS collection.
Wow. And why did we not buy this?
I'm getting to this. I saw this post probably 2 hours after it had been posted.
Yeah.
I went to the website. Every single one of them were sold out. They were $80 for a mystery box. You couldn't pick what you wanted. You would pay $80.
I would have done it.
10 VHS tapes.
Amazing.
Completely random, and a signed autograph photo.
Motherfucker.
That's awesome.
I went on the site to get it, and they were fucking sold out, bro. I was like, I wouldn't even cared what was in that box.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
just that signed
yeah
thing.
John Carpenter. Hey,
and of course,
hey guys. These were hanging out in John Carpenter's little filing cabinet, and he signed them. Yeah, or signed this little piece of paper. No big deal.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of John Carpenter in 1976, Assault on Precinct 13 received an X rating by the MPAA for having the little girl get shot. Spoiler. On screen, which they cut from the film for re-review. Then they got the R rating and then added the footage back in for release. Isn't that fun?
Fucking love it.
Boss.
Pretty cool
the
move.
the man. John Carpenter gave him the big middle finger. I'm doing this.
Hell yeah, dude.
But yeah, that shot of Roger in there, even when he comes up behind her in the house, when he makes it into the house, that was definitely little Michael Myers moments there. I thought it was pretty cool.
There's also a shot when they go to the worm farm looking for him, and he leaves Jerry in the truck. He finds the dad.
He pops up behind the.
You can see, you can see Roger's reflection in the rearview mirror, and it's a pretty cool shot. Like for as much as I don't like Roger in this movie, he's part of the shots that I do really like in this.
He's the through line through the whole movie.
Yeah,
I mean, he's your main villain essentially.
But yeah, I mean, my note here was the end has some okay moments, but overall, this thing's just a slog.
It is. It's a long 95 minutes or however long it is. It's 92 minutes.
We got to talk about Mick and Roger's fight on the stairs, and then him throwing him into the worms. Dude, now you're talking about cool shots. That slow shot of his head going in there.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of cool if he would have done the thumbs up on the way down. That was Terminator 2.
That was the gift. That was the gift that I sent you guys. To call back when I said, "Hey, maybe we should check out this movie." I saw a GIF of that, and it's basically the coolest moment in the movie.
It would be the coolest moment in the movie if that fucking scream that he does as he falls into the worms wouldn't happen, because that scream's fucking terrible.
Dude, he could win any breakdance contest doing the worm. Dude, the way he does that all the way up the fucking stairs and across.
Well, I think the thing is the worms are moving him up the stairs.
Why?
I don't know why.
There's also another moment. We're actually past it, but there's a part where Mick is trying to find Jerry in the house, and he's like, Jerry, and it made me think of Kramer in this Seinfeld episode where he's calling for Jerry. Jerry.
It made me think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Jerry.
Yeah, that too.
And you think about it, Mick wasn't the hero. The electrician was the hero of the movie. Dude, he saved the day. He is the hero.
But okay, so is he the MVP of the movie, or is Alma the MVP of the movie?
We'll see here in a minute.
I do love that little note that's like, oh no, you thought Alma was dead, and nope, she was in the foreshadowing from the beginning. She was in the trunk.
You can't take out a country girl that easy.
Yeah, because I thought she was dead. I mean, when
I
I
did
first
too.
saw the movie when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, she's dead. I mean, I saw the trunk opening up. Now I can tell you this much: the shot. This is where I think it could have been really cool for a horror movie. Is she's standing to this side of the window when she's hollering at them? I was so waiting for Worm-Faced Roger to stand up right behind her in the window.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
That would have been pretty cool. And dude, that fadeaway of the house with the music playing and then it fades out, dude, that's so Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That the movie's over and how they would always fade from the camp out to the water and then they faded from the house down the land. I was like, damn, maybe John Carpenter and Sean Cunningham and all them stole something from this movie.
It all starts with Squirm, you guys. Cinema, I mean.
Hey, Jason. Whose tagline is it anyway?
I don't know. Let's see who did it. Let's see if Hollywood wrote it or I wrote it. Eric did pretty. Did Eric win last week? I think Eric won it last week. I think he did.
I did.
I think it was like the first time he beat Josh.
No, I don't think that happened.
Oh.
But it's a game where the points don't matter and the taglines are made up, so who gives a shit?
Okay. This was the Night of Crawling Terror.
I think that might be real.
I'm gonna say fake.
It was real.
I have to say something different than Josh, or else I'll never get up on points. I gotta take my chances.
Who's the bait now?
I'll say Jason wrote it.
Eric's like, I just said I have to say something different.
I really don't know what to do here. I feel like, yeah, I think Jason wrote it.
I wrote it.
Jason!
That noise is so disturbing.
You like it, you know it.
Oh, I like it. I like to hear my name screamed aloud.
By Drew Barrymore.
But hey, who wouldn't? So, all right, here we go. An avalanche of killer worms riding across the land in a tidal wave of terror.
That sounds real.
I think it's real too.
So long. Okay.
It is real. It is definitely real. I knew you would figure that out because remember we've had this discussion how Hollywood, these old Hollywood horror movies, write these paragraph of fucking taglines. And the final one. I think this is gonna be the hardest one, guys. I don't think you'll be able to figure it out. Ready? This was the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Fake.
Yes.
Jason!
Well, I lost again.
Jason!
Yes, you did. 5-4, dude. Man, you suck, Eric.
I do, in fact.
But that's taglines, people. Are we ready to wrap this fucker up?
Let's wrap this bitch up.
Well, I just hold on. No.
Whoa.
No. Cut.
Eric
cut,
said,
cut.
Whoa.
I wanted to say I like the shot through the house, watching the aftermath of how filthy the house is after the worms were in it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I feel like that's a little something we don't get very often in movies. Like you get to see, like, after all that's been cleared out, like this is the state of the house. I don't know. I enjoyed that little bit.
Another John Carpenter maybe ripoff of the shot of the house after the movie. Remember at the end of Halloween, they do the shots of the room and you can hear Michael breathing.
Yeah.
Showing all the shots of the house. Maybe Squirm set it all off.
Squirm is pure cinema.
We owe it all to Squirm.
There we go, people. Not really.
All right. Well, let's talk about this.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Why don't you start this week, Eric.
That sounded like something Roger would have said when he fell off the stairs. Going into the worms.
I got worms in my face.
I got worms trying to eat my wiener.
All right, so good is Alma. My favorite part of this movie is Alma. She's just a good time. She's up for anything.
I think she kind of was.
That came out wrong.
Dude, no. I think she was trying to take Mick from Jerry the whole
I'm sure
time.
she would not hesitate. No. And
that's why she was wearing those shoes that she could not clearly walk in.
It's kind of soft ground for shoes like that, for heels.
Maybe.
Yeah. Bad. I've got a 2 for bad. One is the skeleton mystery. Takes way too much screen time. It's pointless. We know it's worms the whole time. And my other bad is the child singing.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. There are no children in this film. Nothing.
Waiting
no reason to have
in the garden.
I can only assume it's Roger as a child, recovering from his worm attack thumb injury.
Dude, this is Roger.
Waiting in the garden. I wish I still had my thumb.
Yep. And then my ugly is Willie Grimes.
Willie Grimes'
performance is, in a movie filled with bad performances, stands out as just being just awful, unacceptable.
Pretty bad. All right, Jason, give us yours.
Oh, did you do an ugly? Is that what your ugly was the Grimes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Willie.
you had more bad. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
I'm used to it.
My good. Rick Baker special effects. I thought they were pretty cool. The worm face, all that going on. I thought that was really cool. I mean, spooky, scary Roger throughout the rest of the movie after the worms get in his face. Still just have a nostalgia about watching this. It's not a good movie, but it's something I remember memories of watching with my mom growing up. So, and all these animal movies that we've talked about, like this and Food of the Gods and The Night of the Lepus, they're all horrible movies, but they bring back a memory of a childhood that was fun memories about watching these movies. So I think it helps with that.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Alma. I've had that in here. I thought she was cool. Dude, she's rolling them and sticking them in her bra to smoking. She's like, I'm here to have a good time. You're going to need this for the poison ivy.
Almost chilling.
My bad is the acting. The whole Southern accent thing is horrible. I know probably some of these people, maybe this was their only movie. They might've been from the South, but it's, I don't know, 2 weeks of hearing people talk like they're from Georgia or Texas that probably aren't it's like grinds on you. That's really my basic bad. The ugly is creepy, rapey Roger, and the sheriff's a dickhead. So, yeah, that's the main thing.
He was grabbing all up on the waitress's ass and shit in the cafe and stuff. He's gross.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Yeah, he was kind of creepy too. Him and Roger both rapey, creepy guys.
Yeah.
The good for me is the scene where they go to the worm farm and you can see that shot of Roger in the mirror, the rearview mirror. I thought that was really cool. And the shot of Roger in the window when they get to the house. Like I said, I don't really care for Roger throughout this movie, but he is in some of the coolest shots of this movie. Again, like the last 10 minutes, I was having a pretty good time with. I like when you can see like the rolling of the worms in the room and in the bedroom and whatnot. That stuff all looks really cool. It's just the bad is it takes too fucking long to get to something good in this movie. This movie's pretty bad most of the way through. Like I'm surprised I sat through it twice and now I get to edit an episode with it. So I'm going to get to watch it many, many more times. But it's I mean, that's why we do this show, is to watch these movies, talk about them, have fun talking about them. So I had a great time talking about this movie, but it's a movie I'm never going to watch again after we're done with it.
No way, dude. I'm done with this one.
I mean, unfortunately, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this movie.
And the ugly for me is going to be all the shots of the worms screaming. I can do without that shit.
That's Eric's like favorite part. He says, "Dude, come on."
I'm down for the screaming worms. I needed more screaming worms. They should all been screaming in the house. How much scarier would that have been if they were all screaming?
I prefer the like the squiggly like.
Yeah.
I prefer all those noises over the screaming.
Hey, Josh, do that noise again. Whoa. Yikes.
Yikes. I'm sorry for the people only listening to this.
We got this and we got worms in vagina. So
you want a cool worm? Give me the sandworm from Beetlejuice. That's what I want. Sandworms from Beetlejuice. That would have been the best ending in this movie is if a fucking sandworm came out and just ate the house.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. With Beetlejuice right in the back of it, even though this movie was shot in 1976.
With Willie Grimes riding the back of it.
So if you're looking up Squirm on Rotten Tomatoes, you would see that it has a 29% on the tomato meter. And an audience score
That's rotten.
An audience score of 26%.
Who picked this one?
But it's got a cult following.
Jason knows because he's in the cult.
Yeah, I'm the cult of worms. The cult of worms.
He's a regional manager.
So when we discussed talking about this movie, I went on to see, because Scream Factory released a special edition of it a little while back. Well, it's out of print now. This movie sells for $160 on Blu-ray on eBay right now. And people will buy it.
Wow.
And I was like, before I'd seen the movie and I was like, okay, I need to actually get this movie so I can get it, do it for the podcast. I was like, I'm not paying that much money. And I'm so glad that I didn't talk myself into buying an expensive copy of this movie. Because
if you want to watch it, go to Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi. Absolutely free. You just got to sit through a few commercials.
And really, there aren't that many commercials. I was actually surprised. It was only like 2, maybe 3 commercial breaks.
What's funny is I watched it on Tubi myself, and as soon as the movie ends, it says, "Oh, you might also like Slugs." So I just started watching Slugs, and already it seems like it's a better movie. I only watched like 10 minutes of it.
But like we were talking about yesterday, it's 12 years newer. Yeah, it was 1988.
Yeah, it was like 88 when that one was made. But according to Rotten Tomatoes, if you like slugs, or if you like squirms, slugs, frogs, whatever this movie's called, you might like The 18th Angel. Never heard of it. Equinox. Never heard of it. The Dunwich Horror. Never heard of it.
Heard of that.
The Roost. Never heard of it. And Blood Feast. Never heard of it.
I've heard of Blood Feast.
Now, let me also state that every one of these movies has a below 50% on the tomato meter.
That means they're fucking awesome.
If you like this shit, boy, do I have some shit for you.
If you like worm shit, here's some more worm shit.
Oh, God.
We got to do Slugs, though, next, right?
No. Maybe next year.
No. If we're going to do another animal movie, we need to do Night of the Lepus.
No.
Jesus.
Killer rabbits, dude. Killer rabbits. That's all I got to say.
Should have done that for Easter.
Josh, totally missed out on that.
Well, I didn't know about it. So we've got our Easter movie for next year. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our conversation about Squirm. If you enjoy this movie, let us know in the comments. If you don't enjoy this movie, let us know in the comments. We'd like to talk with you about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we're here for. Jason, don't eat that worm, Jason. No, it's going to eat you from the inside out.
Oh, boy. Well,
we got our own personal Roger here on the show, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We will be back next week. And until next time, be kind. Rewind!
Look out. This is a serious show. We take ourselves seriously here. We don't fling worms at the camera.
Seriously.